Welcome everyone to another episode of the Collector Car Stories podcast with collectorcarcanada.ca. We have another great guest today. Her name is Amy Bradley. She comes to us from Orbit Insurance, and she'll tell us a little bit about the insurance racket, but we're going to mostly focus on fun stories about cars and the people who drive them. So welcome, Amy.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting.
Oh, thanks.
I love it.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you were able to come. And why don't you tell us a little bit about your day-to-day? We'll talk about where you earn your living and how the grind of it all, and then we'll get to the fun stuff.
Sounds good. So, as you know, we are Orbit Insurance Services, which we were formerly Wayfair Insurance Group.
Right.
So a lot of people know Wayfair Insurance Group because we specialize in all of your lifestyle products. So we have your collector cars, your RVs, your boats, your motorcycles, your ATVs, snowmobiles. We insure your fun stuff. And as well, we listened to our customers.
What? Businesses don't usually do that.
We never listen, right? But we did. A lot of our clients were tired of calling this insurance broker for a specialized product. Then they had their home and auto in another insurance brokerage.
Sure.
So we said it took us a few years, but we were able to do it.
So from my perspective, our audience is mostly focused on collector cars.
Absolutely.
But the reason you did that is because the collector car people have also been known to own a boat or an RV or a snowmobile or an ATV.
Yes.
So we're going to focus mostly on the car side.
Yes.
But as I say, I think our audience is probably interested in a lot of those offerings.
Yes. Yeah. So one thing that you have to know that because we're specialized and we're Orbit Insurance Services and we revolve around you now is because when you call us, you are talking to specialized departments. So when you call for your collector car, we're going to transfer you to our specialized brokers.
So yeah, and I think you said you're familiar with sort of the mechanical service world, and what about garage policies?
Yes, we do. So if you have a garage policy, you have that, you need that, you're having a hard time finding insurance, absolutely we have that. We have you covered. That's why we revolve around you with Orbit Insurance Services.
Not necessarily our exclusive audience, but there are going to be some people who are familiar with the auto service world.
Yeah, the auto service world. If you have a car club, you're looking for that, we have it as well.
Yeah.
Now, do you know what was interesting? You were talking about, we're going to talk about the cars and the trucks and everything. A lot of people see me as the RV side. They don't get to see me as the collector car side as much. Yes, you do see me out at your
I was gonna say I don't go to the RV shows. I go to the car shows.
Yeah.
That's where I see you, so I associate you with you.
I think the first time we met was at CTMP.
Right.
Which is Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
Some people might still call it Mosport, but
yeah, outside of Bowmanville.
Yeah.
That's right. So that was the first time we met. But people are like, Amy, do you have a collector car? How did you get into this? Do you live the lifestyle? Absolutely.
Can you see my script? I just
Absolutely. So what people need to know is, do I have a RV? Well, I sold it, kids got older. Anyways,
sure.
We'll get into that later. But we also have, actually my husband, when he was 15, he bought a 66 F100 4-speed.
So regular viewers of our podcast will remember us having a fellow named Mark Rogerson a couple of weeks ago. He's the owner of the Strokers Dragster from the 50s. He's such a vintage car guy. He tows the dragster around with not just a Ford truck, but a 1966. So, fun coincidence.
That is
Mark,
awesome.
if you're watching, we're thinking of
you. Yep. And I want to see a picture of that. I think that would be fantastic.
You didn't see the episode.
I didn't see the episode. I'll have to go and watch the episode. But yeah, so we have that. And when I was little, my dad had a 38 Plymouth in the garage.
So hang on, we moved away from that 66 Ford pretty quickly.
Sorry, we did.
Tell us about that car. Or truck.
The truck.
Yeah. So that's it. That's at your home right now.
That's in the home right now. Now she's broken down a little bit, which Justin and the boys are going to fix up. Justin took it out. That's my husband.
Must be your husband.
Yeah. Yep, he took it out, and well, you should always torque your tires.
Sure.
So he put on some new tires, which is, he did the right thing, but forgot to torque them.
Oh boy.
And the wheel fell off.
Oh boy.
So there's a little dent underneath, but you know what? Life happens, and this is why you would have insurance.
Ah, so
Right?
smooth, so smooth.
This is why you would have insurance. Would he be covered? Absolutely he
Right.
would. Now you say that because my sons, they have a high school, well obviously they go to high school, and they have a tractor and shine day.
Tractor and
A
shine.
tractor and shine day, yes. So that's when all the kids can bring the tractors in, and if they have a collector car.
Just for the reference for our viewers, I think you live in or near Lindsay, is
Yes.
that right? So probably in
Yeah,
a
we're living on
rural
farm,
area.
rural
Yeah.
area,
Yeah.
a lot of farmers.
Yeah.
Farm kids, farm boys, girls, everything. And they have a car shine, tractor and shine show, which
Right.
they bring in. Now, if you have a vintage tractor, absolutely
Your
we'll insure
family
that.
does?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a one that needs to be repainted. Our Michael does John Deere's. He has
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of collector
Well, you only need
John
green
Deere's.
paint for those.
Well, that's exactly it. Green and yellow. But we like our Kubotas and internationals, so we stay away from them. We kind of make fun because that's what we do. So, but anyways, we have that, and Jackson, my oldest son, he's like, well, I'll take the truck out. I want to take it to the show and shine.
He's old enough to drive?
Well, he's old enough to drive, but with us, rule of thumb, you should be 25 years of age
For the policies.
for our policies.
Yeah.
So no, he cannot drive. But you know what? I shouldn't even say this, but I like people to know life happens. I get it. We understand it. We're not stuck in the muds. Like, you're trying to bring your younger kids and the younger generation to do the RVing.
Into
not
the hobby.
RVing, sorry, into
Yeah.
the hobby, the
Into
collector
hobby,
car.
Sure.
So I said, no, you cannot drive it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Justin and I were out one day, and then all of a sudden we look, coming down the back lane, because we live on a farm, back lane, they're still on the property. Here comes the boys in the truck,
In the 66?
in the 66.
Yeah.
Well, let's
Does
say
that four
this.
wheels on it?
Yes.
That's good.
Yes, yes it did. And we'll just put it this way, if something were to happen, there'd be no coverage.
Mm-hmm.
So I let Justin deal with the situation just because, you know, that's the baby. That's Justin's baby.
Sure.
He bought it when he was 15, brought it home.
Sure.
It's the way the kids, usually you clean out the barns with the tractor and loader.
Mm-hmm.
They were pretty handy with a fork and a shovel.
Okay.
So they have not touched that truck since, we'll
Uh-huh.
say. So it's very good. They're allowed to wash
I
it,
see. I'll bet.
but it is the baby.
I'll bet these kids had their mouths washed out with soap the first time they were caught swearing too.
Yes, they did. I had when you're past the fence and working, and then
Yeah.
when you're in the house, there's different rules.
Sure.
Yes, so that is, and when we got married, you know how some people get their limos, they're like,
can't wait to hear this
"Hey,"
one.
They get their limos and everything. Justin and I had my aunt and uncle's 29 Chev
Wow,
with the
that's
Rambler seat in the back.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, so that, people have limos, not us.
Mm-hmm.
It
Oh,
was
that's
just-
more fun, I think.
It was awesome. We
Yeah.
came through, because I'm from Beaverton. We literally came through the downtown Beaverton, and we stopped and took a picture in black and white, and it just looked like back in the 30s.
70
Like
years
in this,
prior, sure.
yeah, it was
Sure.
a fantastic picture. So,
Yeah.
and then we had pictures. We had the I got Justin to write it down. The International Super M truck. People like trees. We're doing our wedding pictures with tractors.
Sure.
Collector tractors.
That sounds fun.
So it's all there. So yes, I know collector cars. I know your collector trucks. One thing with the trucks that people think, oh, I've got a truck, it's only 10 years of age. Something to remember, we will do trucks when they're 25 years old.
25 plus, yeah.
25 plus, 25 years of age, so
Sure.
25 is rule of thumb,
Right.
the years that we will
Magic
do.
word, magic
The
number.
magic.
But I do know, speaking of Lindsay and its surrounding areas, I do know of a couple of annual car shows up that
Yes.
way.
Kent
Do
Street,
you have any, there's classics on Kent.
classic content.
There's, I think there's one called Brits in the Park, just
Yes,
to name
there
a
is.
couple.
Those are downtown Lindsay.
Right.
So
What's
we
the cruise
literally.
scene like in Lindsay?
Oh,
Tell us about that.
fantastic. So the cruise thing, when you go to Lindsay, a lot of it happens at the airport, it's just 2 minutes outside of Lindsay, I'll say, at the
Sure.
Lindsay airport.
Right.
They close it down, and we actually, last week, just had a show there. I wasn't at that show. I was at Great Canadian RV.
I know someone who was. Yeah, I know of that
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
So, and it was fantastic. And that was the show just before. So next week, I believe, is Classic on Kent.
Oh yeah, right.
Yes.
Right.
So they closed down all of Kent Street, literally from the very end to the top. And that's all closed. There's hundreds of cars that come out.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely fantastic.
It sounds like, Amy, you live the collector car life
Like-
and,
yeah.
and beyond.
Yes.
More than just 9 to 5 Monday to Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm out there. It's kind of weird. It's a rite of passion. It is.
Sure.
Because you love hearing the stories of where the cars came from and what happened. I was at Motorama. I had a booth at Motorama this year, and there is I forget his name, but he had his collector car there, and him and his dad bought it years ago.
This is Motorama at Mississauga.
This is Motorama, Mississauga.
At the International Center.
International
I think I
Center
saw you
in
at that
March.
show in
Yes,
March, yeah,
yes.
yeah.
See, we see each other
I think
around
that's
and
when I
again.
dropped the idea of you being a podcast
Yes,
guest.
That's,
Actually.
yeah. So, and the gentleman right in front of me, I think his name was Phil,
Uh-huh.
if I remember correctly. And I love the stories. So him and his dad bought the car,
Sure.
and then they sold it. His dad passed away, and he hunted for it.
Well, he wanted to find the same
he
car.
wanted to find the same
Yeah.
car. Now it needed some loving.
Sure.
Loving, I say like TLC. It needed some work.
Yeah.
Oh, and then he finished it.
But he
and
found it.
Yes.
Good for him.
He found it and did it all up the way him and his dad did when they sold it. Oh, absolutely fantastic and beautiful. Like, I just love the stories because
Sure, me
there's
too.
histories
Me too.
behind all of these cars.
He's got something that his dad sat in and worked on, and he'll probably keep that for life.
Oh,
But you're mentioning the hangar. It was interesting to hear you, or the airport rather.
yes.
My experience with small town airports and smaller airports is there are hangars, and even if they are full of airplanes, you can still squeeze cars in
Yes, you can.
underneath the, I want to say wings, but I'll use a fancy word, ailerons
I
of the planes.
would have said wings.
The car I'm driving today, I bought online before I launched this business. The experience of it was part of the inspiration for launching the business. But I was very pleased to pick the car up at an airport hangar. I
Yeah.
thought, oh, this is a good sign. And it's been a good sign.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, a lot of them will do that because you
Yeah.
have to think, if you've got your aviation, like your airplanes, that's your baby. You're looking after that. And then you're still going to have your cars in there.
Probably going to be a person who's mechanically inclined
Yes.
and interested in the upkeep of their
Yeah.
cars, be they new or
Well, all your
yeah.
tools are going to be in the hangar, so
That's
it's
right. Yeah.
a perfect place to have your cars.
Yeah.
Now, do you know what you say, hangars, and it reminds me of a claim we had. So the hangars, you know, you have the doors, you slide them open. And
Sure.
this one actually happened at a house.
Okay.
It was a younger driver. This is when I say life happens. This is why you have specialized insurance.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, new drivers, they know it all. Whatever, been there, done that.
Sure.
But now we're older,
I-
wiser.
I
We're
knew
older,
so much.
wiser.
I knew so much more when I was 18 than I
Yes.
know now.
Right? So the young lad, he jumped in the car and, well, accidentally backed up into the garage.
Did he have permission to drive the car? Or?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
it was
good.
a regular car. We'll say it's
Okay.
the your regular auto. Unfortunately, backed up into the garage door because life happens.
So it was just
But-
absent-mindedness. He forgot to open the garage door.
Yeah, and well, the collector car was in the garage.
Okay.
So he hit the door pretty hard. So he hit the door
'Cause you want- if
smashed
you're
up
18,
into the garage.
If you're 18 years old, you do want to floor it in reverse to get out of the garage
Yeah.
quickly.
Because, you know, you're squealing the tires, you're doing your thing, right? You wonder why the younger ones have a little more insurance
Premium.
premium than anything. But so you got to think about it. He hit with the regular car, hit the door, and then the car sitting in the garage. Now I know a lot of people think, hey, if I have my car in the garage in the wintertime, I'm going to take off coverage. I don't need it. It's safe.
Right.
This is an instant,
Well, maybe you take your
not so
liability off,
safe. Yeah,
but not your
but not your comprehensive.
theft, Yeah.
Yeah, collision, you can do that. But this is an instant, and hit the car.
Mm-hmm.
So would that be covered? Absolutely.
Mhm.
Did you know we have cherished salvage?
And the thing is with these collector cars, certainly in our world,
You're gonna fix them.
once a new car rolls off the dealer's lot, the new
Depreciate.
cars, I was gonna say that, the new cars on the dealer lot, they're identical.
Mhm.
A blue Dodge at this dealership is the same as the blue Dodge
Yep.
at the other brand new dealership. But as soon as they roll off, they're no two alike. They all have differences. And someone who's had a collector car for 5, 10, 20, 40 years, they've probably kept it up.
Mhm.
And the body damage that we're talking about doesn't affect the mechanicals of the car in most
Right.
cases. And the person's attached to the car, they probably want to keep it and repair it. So
Yeah.
that does it does speak to the to how collectors would value
Yes.
such policy. So tell us, Amy, I know you were at an RV show, I can't remember, it was this past weekend or the previous one.
Yes.
Tell us about some car shows you've been to promote Orbit's wares in the past. Well, this year, say. I know I saw
this
you at
year.
Motorama.
Yeah.
You had a great crowd at your booth there.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always fantastic because, I love it because you get to interact,
Sure.
talk to people,
Yeah.
listen to what they have, and the best thing about it when you talk to the collector car people, you get ideas.
Mm-hmm.
You get ideas. Well, have you ever thought of putting this in?
Well, you get to hear what
Have
they
you ever-
need, what they
Yes.
want, what the customers want. the client
Yeah.
want. Yeah.
Yeah. Tomorrow I'm going to be at Innisfil Beach Cruisers.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll be there. It starts at 4. And then Saturday I will be at Rama Rama Classic Car at Lagoon City.
Right.
Then the next Thursday I will be in Peterborough at the.
You should attach dates to these because we are recording this in time for people to hit these up.
Are
So
you?
You talked, so today is, I think it's July 10th.
I think next Thursday I will be just outside of Peterborough at the Big Red Barn.
So the Thursday, the 18th.
Yes.
Excellent, okay.
Mhm.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff coming up.
Always
I'm on-
is.
Yes, but it's the fun. I
Yeah.
call it the fun season.
Good. But it's busy season too because your office
Yes.
work doesn't disappear.
No, it does not.
It's all
No.
waiting for you when you get back.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
What's the URL for Orbit Insurance?
We are just orbitinsuranceservices.ca.
Yeah.
But if you're like me, you short form, just orbit.ca.
Oh, you have Orbit.ca?
We have
That's a good find.
orbit.ca.
We'll pop that onto the URL, onto the screen, the URL on
Yeah.
the screen too for people to see. You told us one little story. I was hoping for crazy stories. That was a story. It wasn't a crazy story.
Oh.
Tell us about your crazy stories from the insurance world, Amy.
The crazy.
You must have a couple.
We do. Well, we actually insured, if you can believe it, this is years ago. We do not do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But we insured a truck that was actually fueled by wood.
Wow. What era of truck? And was this
You would
must have
ask me
been
the year. This was years and years ago.
Oh, you
I
have to tell me the
can't-
exact year.
Yeah.
But it would have been converted
Oh,
to be fueled by
yes.
wood. Yeah.
Yes. So we used to do those conversions. Absolutely, we do not cover that anymore. That is a big no-no in the
The
insurance
wood
industry.
fueled cars.
The wood fueled cars.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can see. I tease insurers and
Yes.
lawyers that the insurance companies and lawyers are taking over the world. But I think I do support that you don't
Yes.
cover wood fueled.
But it was pretty cool though, because I was
Yeah.
like, I talked to our collector card department before I came. I was like,
Sure.
okay guys, what are the most ones? Because we all talk. It's all, this was the best one.
Yeah.
Was an actually
Yeah.
truck fueled by wood.
So I guess.
Could
this
you imagine
truck's-
that? The truck and your wood's in the back, throw up a log and shove it in and there you go.
You've got to have a fire burning at all times around the truck. And if your log burns out, who's there to refuel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like you call someone to say, hey, can you bring me gas? I run out of gas all the time. I do. I am that person. I drive my husband crazy. And I was, Dave's Corner Garage, when that was on, Brian, he does race cars now.
Right.
So he
Dave's
was
Corner Garage, that was formerly a radio show, I believe.
Yes.
And it remains as a podcast, is that right?
they just closed that down.
But you've been a guest
April.
on the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was guest on there, and Brian, he does race cars.
Okay.
So he's on there, and I was at actually Rama Collector Car on the last year on the weekend, and I was doing
Right.
a podcast live from there.
Right.
And we were talking about Brian. He lost a race by like 1 millimeter of a second because they ran out of gas.
Right.
And then I came on and I was like, I run out of gas all the time. I am that person that runs out of gas, and I will have a jerry can in the back. So I am.
You are prepared.
I am prepared.
So, Amy, if a racer runs out of gas, it's usually because they didn't want to pit an extra time to save time.
Yeah.
If what did you call your machine? The Mama Red Rocket.
The Mama Red Rocket.
If someone's driving a Mama Red Rocket and runs out of gas, you can only attribute it to bad planning.
It is, and I'm like, I can make it. I am that one. Everyone's like, you see E? I see E, but it still says...
There's a bit of a gray area.
A gray area. Sometimes I start talking about different things, and then I get into my story, and then I forget.
Do you ever get carried away?
I do, a little bit, as you can see. Well, it's just so much fun. It's just,
good.
There's so much.
Yeah,
there's so much stuff.
Amy always brings enthusiasm.
I do.
Yeah.
Well, you know how I was talking about, we also insure, if I get this, retired commercial vehicles.
Okay.
So you'll see the old fire trucks that
Sure.
are in parades. We can insure those.
I think it's a common thing for someone who drove truck for 30 or 40 years, say a tanker truck.
Yeah.
They're not going to drive it as their daily, but they want to
No.
have it as a souvenir, and they probably want to drive it occasionally.
They do.
So
They want to take it to the collector car shows.
Yeah.
You want to show it off because not a lot of people have those and restore them.
And the other neat thing is at a show, they attract the eyeballs because
Yes, they do.
I love Mustangs, I love Camaros, I
Yep.
love Corvettes, but you see them frequently at the shows, right? When's the last when you get to see a tanker truck or a fire truck?
Do you
don't
know
see
only
them so
Motorama?
Yeah. Well, I think we've covered a good range of topics. We've been talking for a little while. I think we'll end off there, Amy. I do want to thank you for coming to join us. You told some great stories, and I think our audience is going to like them. So we do want to thank you for coming, as I say, and we'll let you know when we're live with the podcast.
Sounds
we'll
good.
also add some of the URLs for information about some of the, not just your own pursuits at Orbit, but some of the events you were talking about. So thank you again, and thank you for watching. Go ahead, Amy.
No, thank you so much for having me. This was fabulous.
Yeah, no, it was good fun. Thank you for watching, viewers, and we'll see you next time on the Collector Car Stories podcast.